The anti-ICE protests that started in Los Angeles are now spreading from coast to coast. Demonstrations were held in cities like San Antonio, Baltimore, Detroit, and Spokane, Washington overnight. Several states are preparing for even more protests to continue into the coming days. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott is now deploying more than 5,000 National Guard troops in response. In L.A., though, it was relatively quiet last night, a result of the city's self-imposed curfew. However, several people were arrested for violating that curfew in overnight protests. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Sganga joins us now to talk about this. And Nicole, very good to see you. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is in L.A. today. She rode along with ICE agents who are conducting an operation in the area despite these growing protests. So what did she have to say? What was her visit about?
Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. Good to be with you. Secretary Noem also hosted a press conference, and we saw a very interesting confrontation between her and Senator Alex Padilla of California, where he was actually forcibly escorted, physically removed from that room. But as for what the DHS secretary had to say, she had many, praised words, gratitude for law enforcement, not only ICE, but for Homeland Security investigations, for the FBI that has been working alongside other federal law enforcement immigration agents to target what she says are the worst of the worst, in terms of apprehending illegal migrants or unauthorized migrants in the city of Los Angeles. And we heard her comments also echoed there by the ICE chief, Todd Lyons, speaking about how law enforcement right now is deploying targeted operations to go after gang members, human traffickers, rapists, and there was a rotating slideshow behind her showing some of these individuals. Now, we should say, Nancy, here's what we know about the arrests made in Los Angeles. ICE says that since this operation started on Friday, June 6th, they've arrested at least 330 unauthorized migrants, and of those, 113 had prior criminal convictions. So certainly not everyone who's been arrested has a criminal history, but again, ICE reiterating that these are targeted operations in Los Angeles, but this is not happening in a vacuum. We've also seen some ICE raids happening across the country, including in Omaha, Nebraska, where a food processing center, Glen Valley Foods, was raided earlier this week. 70 individuals there were arrested in one fell swoop. The owner of that operation saying he tried to follow all of the rules. So many questions about who exactly is being targeted. But the message from the Homeland Security Secretary is one of law and order.
So you're talking about those arrests. What more are we learning about the charges that those protesters in L.A. are now facing?
Yeah, in terms of the charges in L.A., L.A.'s top prosecutor has brought some pretty serious charges against 8 individuals for attacking police, vandalizing buildings, robbing stores. We also know that hundreds have been arrested on lesser charges of, breaking curfews, unlawful assembly. We do know that right now federal investigators are looking into the possibility of outside groups or, outside antagonists infiltrating these protests. In fact, Secretary Kristi Noem mentioning that the IRS is now in Los Angeles looking into any financial ties in terms of who has been causing the most destruction throughout these protests in L.A. that are happening really in smaller pockets alongside the city. I mean, we know 99% of the city has remained really calm. The L.A. Sheriff's Office also saying that they're looking into that as well, Nancy.
All right, Nicole Sganga, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And shortly after that incident with Senator Alex Padilla, Secretary Kristi Noem told reporters he should have identified himself. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer later took to the Senate floor to express his anger over what happened.
U.S. Senator being manhandled, we now know, by federal agents and dragged out of a hearing room. Now there's a second video. It's even worse. He's been thrown to the ground, again, manhandled, brutally taken down, handcuffed. It was disgusting. Anyone who looks at it turns anyone who looks at this, it will turn their stomach to look at this video and see what happened. Reeks of totalitarianism. This is not what democracies do. Senator Padilla was there, legitimately in that building, to ask questions of what's going on in California, which everybody wants to know answers to. We don't get answers when we ask the administration questions in one way or another. So Senator Padilla was exercising his duty as a senator for his constituents to try and find out what happened. And instead, he gets manhandled, thrown out of the room, thrown out on the ground, and handcuffed. We need a full investigation immediately as to what happened and who did what and what's going to be done to see that this doesn't happen again to Senator Padilla or other American citizens who are seeking their right to redress. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It is so un-American. So un-American. We need answers. We need answers immediately.
A statement from Senator Padilla's office says, in part, quote, he tried to ask the secretary a question and was forcibly removed by federal agents, forced to the ground and handcuffed. He is not currently detained, and we are working to get additional information.